It's June the 3rd, which means I'm already 2 days behind on my writing. I started today on writing the first chapter of the history book that I'm working on. I started off actually by reading over my introduction to make sure I liked the way the introduction was, and reading some of the material I'd already written for chapter 1, and then I got on kind of a really good streak where I felt like I was writing at a fairly good clip, and I was really happy with the organization and the way my ideas were flowing today. You can see me every once in a while. I think you'll see me in the video consulting books. These are my sources for the history I'm writing, and essentially the history I'm writing is what I'm hoping is a top to bottom history of a specific military unit that fought in the Pacific during World War II. This is the division that my great uncle was actually a part of, and part of the inspiration for writing this was an interview he did with another family member who just tried to record the memories of our family members who were involved in. Sorry about the dog. To record the memories of family members we had who were involved in World War II, and she just basically asked him questions. It's one of those situations where, as a historian, it was kind of frustrating. I was happy that she had done it because I have this great record of his thoughts about his military service and about World War II. But on the other hand, since she really wasn't a historian, it was kind of frustrating because I felt like she missed opportunities to ask him a lot of questions. But I have a typed transcript of that, which you can also see me working from, as well as some of the documents I was able to get about his military service in the United States military. They're books written by soldiers in that unit that he knew. There's the unit history. There are other books that have been written about the specific parts or about his specific military unit. So what I'm hoping to do is to take this history of his division and go from the division level to the regimental level, from the regimental level to the battalion level, from the battalion level to the company level, and from the company level to the platoon level and the individual level, which would be my uncle. And to talk about, the division and all those other units' activities in the major battles and actions and other things that his units took part in. So that's really kind of what I was working on today. And to be honest with you, you can see that I like to handwrite things. I can't compose sentences very well on the computer. I have to write them out by hand. I'm sure that's an old man problem, or maybe it's just a anti-technology problem. But I have to write them out longhand. And I really finished what I think should be a part of Chapter 1. Chapter 1 will not be a very long chapter, but I may start typing that, do some of the typing on that tomorrow, and then spend some time getting my head around what would be kind of the subject of the next chapter. Okay, so today is June 4th, and today, if you watched the very first writing vlog I did, which was just about the first day I wrote, I mentioned that I wanted to get everything I had handwritten typed. So I did sit down and I got the introduction and I got a part of Chapter 1 typed. And then, life kind of intruded. I got a late start because I had to mow the yard this morning, and then by the time I sat down to write after taking a shower and everything, it was only about an hour till lunchtime. So I typed for about 45 minutes. I find typing to be really tedious. And then at lunchtime, I stopped, ate lunch, and I haven't gone back to it. It's possible I might go back later tonight and do some more typing on what I have written. I did not get to the part where I kind of outline and plan out what I'm going to put in Chapter 2, even though I do have a fairly definite idea. I just wanted to go through my sources and kind of tab the pages that I was going to be using as source information for the next chapter. This is usually a stage I find challenging. A, like I said, I find the typing tedious, and B, more problematically, oftentimes when I'm typing, since it is kind of the second draft, I'm editing as I go, and I don't know if other writers have this experience, but oftentimes it's in this phase where I start to doubt myself and I say, this is terrible, none of this is what you wanted to do, none of it's come out right, and sometimes that discouragement causes me to stop. But not today. That wasn't the reason why I stopped today. Today I did finish typing chapter 1, which turned out to be a little shorter than I thought. I always knew it was going to be a short chapter because it's primarily introductory. So I got that done, which felt pretty good. Again, I kind of edit as I type, so it's not strictly speaking, typing. The chapter came out to be about 6 pages, and I think the typing editing process took me about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, and I spent, another little while reviewing the material for chapter 2 and kind of just, as you can see in the video, putting sticky notes on the pages of the sources that I'll be consulting for chapter 2. Probably tomorrow I'll read over those pages and begin the process of writing chapter 2. Okay, today is June the 7th. I didn't write it all yesterday, June the 6th. Other things and the onset of what I hope is just a bad cold and not the flu kept me from doing any writing yesterday. Didn't really get any good reading done. But I got up today, felt a little better after taking some medicine, and decided to try to get back to the writing. What I did today was what I said I was going to do the day before. I read over the sources, the source material that I wanted to include, or I'm basing chapter 2 on. This required me reading, 30 or 40 pages maybe from several different books and looking over the transcript from my uncle's interview really quickly. And then I actually was able to, after doing that, sit down and begin the process of writing chapter 2, and that went much better than I thought. Each chapter is divided into sections based on the different military levels. So there's the division level, the regiment level, the battalion level, the company level, and then the platoon level. And I got through the division level of chapter 1 today in my writing, our division level chapter 2 today in my writing, which feels pretty good. This chapter is going to be significantly longer than the first, and then the third chapter, which I hope to get to maybe sometime next week, will be much longer because it will actually be a chapter in which I'm describing this military unit in combat. But yeah, that's what I did today. Had a pretty good day of writing, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Okay, technically the writing you see in this video did not take place on June the 8th. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm writing here. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I've been sick for the last couple of days, which kind of cut into my writing enthusiasm, but I have gotten a lot more reading done as a result. Anyway, I had insomnia, so somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning I thought, you know what, why don't you just go and write? I hadn't been able to write all day on Saturday, so I did, and it went really well. I finished one whole section of chapter 2, and I'm starting to have some self-doubt about the historical quality, the scholarship historical quality of what I'm doing, and whether or not I'm not just repeating things from my sources. Sooner or later I'll get to the more original stuff, but that is a worry for me right now, and I might have to do some more research to find more secondary sources. I think the biggest problem I'm going to have with what I wrote last night is being able to read my handwriting, because in looking back over it, my bad handwriting is even worse than normal.